Let's talk about Tezos, why I like it, why I have so much of it, and why I think it's an awesome platform. So in 2017, a man by the name of Arthur created the Tezos white paper. Well, not in 2017. He created the white paper a little bit before then, but let's just talk about the initial coin offering, which was bananas. I don't know if you remember this, but in 2017, Bitcoin spiked to about $20,000. It brought a lot of people into the market. Altcoins were pumping. Binance was, digging out, carving out pieces of market share. Coinbase wasn't public yet, and it only had like 6 cryptos on it. It was a crazy time. And so what happened was Tezos had an initial coin offering. This guy, Arthur, saw all the problems with proof of work systems like Bitcoin and Ethereum and was like, guys, I can solve this. Like, we need to solve this problem with forking. We need to solve this problem with miners. We need to solve this problem with energy usage. We need to solve this problem with transaction fees. I can do it. And so he wrote this white paper, and it described the Tezos ecosystem. It was all about how Tezos worked. A proof of stake, smart contract, on-chain governance protocol. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what all that means. But first, let's talk about this ICO and what happened. So in 2017, they raised a total of $228 million with their initial coin offering. And so basically what that means is they said, hey, we got this new Tezos project. Anybody who wants to buy in now can buy Tezos coins from us at this, absurdly low price. And hopefully it goes up in value when people start using it. And a lot of people did, $228 million worth at least. And it was so much money that authorities got involved in Europe because they were like, whoa, you can't make that much money without giving us a piece. And so they held up the project with lawsuits and whatnot. Well, since then, the Tezos Foundation has been cleared. The Tezos cryptocurrency itself has been absolved of any wrongdoing, and everything is now back on track. It was just one of those times, and man, the tallest nail gets hammered first. You know what I'm saying? But I did look into it deeply, and I did look at the lawsuits, and it was just money grabs by the government. But anyways, everything is good now. So let's talk about the project itself. Tezos is abbreviated XTZ. The tokens within the Tezos ecosystem are called Tezos, or Tez. Now, what's really cool about Tezos is that it's a proof of stake blockchain. It's a completely separate blockchain from Ethereum, from Bitcoin, from Dogecoin, etc. It's not built on top of Ethereum. It's its own thing, and it's proof of stake. So let's talk about the differences between proof of stake and proof of work. Proof of work uses miners to validate transactions. They convert electricity, and they have computers solve really hard math problems so that they can validate transactions and add them to the blockchain, right? Stack up all these transactions, make blocks, blockchain. Proof of stake is a little bit different. In proof of stake, transactions get validated by node operators, or in this case, bakers. Now, bakers are people that are required to have at least 8,000 Tezos and a computer set up to validate transactions, and that computer is called a node. What happens is transactions pass through the network, and they trust the node operators to validate them. So they'll have like a bunch of different node operators get a bunch of the same transactions, and if we all verify them and we all say, hey, they're right, it all checks out, then it gets added to the block, and the blockchain grows. So instead of using electricity to run computers to solve really hard math problems and create a lot of heat and be not green, Tezos uses proof of stake, which means if you have Tez, you can validate transactions and run a node. And it uses about 5 watts of power, I would say, to run a node, which is less than it costs to charge a smartphone, which is really cool. So Tezos is a very green cryptocurrency in that sense. So now we understand what proof of stake is. You stake your Tezos, you stake your coins, you lock them up in order to validate transactions. That's the first way it's different. The second way it's different is on-chain governance. But Evan, what does that mean? Don't worry, I'm going to explain. So I don't know if you remember this, but there's Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. So Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Gold. What had happened is people in the communities disagreed about how these cryptocurrencies should change and evolve with the times. For example, Bitcoin Cash was created because they wanted the block times to be greater so that it could be used more like cash instead of a store of gold, because it takes so long to validate a transaction on the Bitcoin network, and they disagreed, and so Bitcoin State and Bitcoin Gold and Bitcoin Cash both split off of that same blockchain. So both blockchains originate from the same point, but now they serve different algorithms. They have different ways of operating now. Same with Ethereum. Ethereum, they had a disagreement. The founders, they have Ethereum Classic, which is the old protocol, and Ethereum, which is the new protocol. But the problem is that people wanted to make changes. They wanted to adapt these blockchains and the way they work to the growing times, but they weren't able to because of the way they were coded. They had to do a hard fork, which means they had to duplicate the blockchain and they had to create a second cryptocurrency from that duplication point. It's a problem, man. It's too much. It's a lot of work. It confuses the users and, it splits resources and it causes division. And so what Arthur found was that if you could have on-chain governance, which means if you could adapt your blockchain to changes, then you would never have to fork. So let me explain how that works. The node operators, the people that are validating the transactions, well, the bakers technically, the bakers that are validating transactions, get to vote. And whenever the Tezos community comes out with a new change to the Tezos ecosystem, you cast your vote. And by voting, you're able to change the way that the cryptocurrency works. So Tezos has never had to fork, and it never will have to fork, but it has been changing. It's been changing like crazy. For example, there's the new Hangzhou update that I'm about to vote on here in the next couple of days, which will expand the potential of the blockchain and increase its ability to write more complicated smart contracts. If you wanted to do that on Ethereum, you would have to fork, which is crazy to complete start a whole new separate blockchain just to make some minor changes. And that's another reason why I really like Tezos. It's called on-chain governance. It means the cryptocurrency can be governed and changed without having to go off the chain and create a new one. It can all happen within one blockchain, which is really great. It's amazing, in my opinion. Now let's get to some of my favorite parts of Tezos. So Tezos is capable of handling smart contracts. And if you can handle smart contracts, that means NFTs, decentralized lending, exchanges, all kinds of stuff is available when you can use smart contracts. Some of the big smart contract platforms that we are familiar with is Ethereum, Solana, Tezos, and hopefully one day ADA or ADA, which is also known as Cardano. But right now we're going to focus on Tezos. Tezos has a really awesome smart contract system. In fact, you don't have to learn Solidity like you do on Ethereum to write a smart contract. The smart contracts on the Tezos platform are written much simpler, so it's much easier to understand it and write smart contracts. That's why Tezos had the most popular NFT platform prior to OpenSea blowing up in 2021. Tezos has a couple different NFT platforms like Calamint and Hicket Nung, also known as Hen, and they have a really, really cool ecosystem. It's like, I feel like I'm going into the underground to buy really cool art and mess around in communities that, I didn't even know existed. It is very cool. So the point I'm trying to make is that smart contracts are very much alive and well on the Tezos ecosystem. You can pretty much create anything that you want on Tezos that you would be able to create on Ethereum. Now, let's talk about the fees. Ethereum has gas, and gas is expensive. Gas is the money you pay to do a computation on the network because the miners have to get compensated. Remember, the miners are burning electricity. They're using graphics cards to, mine and solve complex math problems. So the gas is expensive. It goes up. It's high. It cost me almost $200 to buy an NFT on Ethereum yesterday. It cost me 0.0002 Tezos to buy an NFT on the Tezos blockchain, and the art was better. I mean, that's all about the artist though. But my point is that because Tezos is green, it's fast, it's on-chain governance and proof of stake, the fees are way lower, like super low. So if you want to get into NFTs and start experimenting with them, Tezos is a great way to go. It's cheap, it's fast, and it's easy to get set up. Last thing, Tezos right now is slept on, in my opinion. The market cap is way lower than Solana, than ADA or ADA. It's a sleeper, is what I'm trying to say. And so if the market cap of Tezos were to increase and simply become as popular as something like ADA or Solana, which it has all the rights to, it's a better system in my opinion, then the price of Tezos would go from $6 up to $70 just to meet the market cap. So it is very possible that Tezos can reach $100 per Tez. All it has to do is start getting used, and people just need to start buying it. I think it's great. Now, last thing, when Tezos was first created, only a very small percentage of the actual Tezos coins were given to the foundation and the people that started the cryptocurrency. When Tezos first started, they gave 10% to the Tezos Foundation, and the Tezos Foundation is there to approve projects and pay for things to help grow the Tezos ecosystem. That's who you see spending money advertising Tezos. The second thing they gave money to was the founders, the people who helped create Tezos and make it real. And they gave 10% to the founders. So they gave 10% to the founders and 10% to the Tezos Foundation. Now, you can go get a grant from the Tezos Foundation. If you want to build a decentralized exchange on the Tezos platform, or you want to do something cool, submit a grant and maybe you can get paid to do it in Tezos. But my point is that the rest, the whole 80% of the rest of the Tezos that were minted or created were sold to the public. So it is more decentralized than ADA. It is more decentralized than Solana by a long shot. It's faster and it's cheaper than Ethereum. And it's a totally slept on cryptocurrency. And that's why I'm so bullish on it. I mean, I even went so far as to join the Slack channel for the developers. I set up a baker with a node. I have a role. Like, I let people delegate their Tezos to me so that I can use their votes to vote on protocol changes, because it's something I care about. And that's why I'm making this video, so that you guys can better understand what Tezos is, why it exists, the problems it was solving, and why I like it so much. So I hope that helped. If you want to learn more from me and you like learning from me, check out Vanator.com. Have a great day and be good to future you.